Hey mama, welcome to the One Income Family podcast. Are you looking for a way out of the paycheck to paycheck lifestyle that you're living? You know, the one where 1 week you have $50 left to your name and the next week you maybe have hundreds? Are you ready for some consistency? Because today I am going to be sharing with you the method I use that has allowed me to stop living paycheck to paycheck and give me a consistent dollar amount to work with each and every time I sit down to budget. So go cuddle up with a nice warm drink, get comfy with them babies, and open your heart to God as we head into today's episode. Do you find it hard to save or get out of debt? Are you constantly searching for ways to save money and live on a budget? Do you have big dreams only to be stopped by not sticking to your budget? Are you ready for financial freedom? Then you, mama, are in the right place. Welcome to the One Income Family podcast, where you will learn what it looks like to budget on one income, how to partner with God in your finances, how to budget in a way that's easy to stick to, and how to cut costs and save money, all so that you can start building wealth. It is my mission to equip you with these tools so that you can live in abundance regardless of the amount in your account. Hey, I'm Molly, a budget coach for stay-at-home moms, and I know what it's like to struggle on one income. I've lived paycheck to paycheck, relied on being frugal, and failed many budgets until I learned how to budget without tracking. This has allowed my family to pay off debt and build wealth all on one income. So, if you are ready for financial freedom, then go grab that stroller, plug in those headphones, and let's get to it. Hey mama, I see you out there. You're living on a set income with no wiggle room, and it just feels so restricting. I know that you're struggling to balance it all. I know that you want to stop living paycheck to paycheck so that you can save money, you can pay off debt, but most importantly, enjoy your life and have fun. I see you struggling to get ahead because budgeting, tracking, and managing it all just feels impossible. It's time to let that all go, to stop feeling restricted and overwhelmed, and to lean into an easier way of budgeting. I am going to help you set up a budget that ends the paycheck to paycheck cycle, a budget that gives you wiggle room so that you can buy the extra thing. A budget that is set up on systems so that management is simple and tracking is easy. I want you to hit pause right now and send me an email to mollybonnell@gmail.com with the subject line budget audit so that you can get started with me and we can get this going for you. Again, that's mollybonnell@gmail.com. So that's MOLLY, B as in boy, ENELL @gmail.com. Are you in? Alrighty, so when I first started budgeting, like we first became a stay-at-home family, my budgeting systems were not great, right? As I'm sure you've heard over the many episodes that I have shared this with you. But my systems were just simply, pay the important things and then just do whatever with whatever was left over. And that, it got me through the living day-to-day stuff, but it didn't get me anywhere else. There was no savings, there was no growth, there was just, living the day-to-day in that paycheck to paycheck lifestyle or mindset, I should say, because paycheck to paycheck is essentially, it's a mindset. It's not actually like the physical numbers, but sometimes it can be, and it can feel like that when 1 week, one paycheck, because of bills, you have no money left over. Like sometimes maybe you only have $50 left to your name after you've paid bills, or after you've paid bills and then got groceries, and you're like, okay, well, how am I gonna, pay for the gas that I need to get to work and that kind of stuff. And so then you have the next week, you pay bills and you have like $200, $300, $400, maybe $500 left over because you didn't have to hardly buy anything, right? or at least bills wise, have to pay anything. And so you were able to get your groceries, and then you all of a sudden have this plethora of money, and you're like, oh my gosh, I can go buy whatever I want. And it's a mindset thing, this living in a paycheck to paycheck like cycle that you get in, and you're just like, you're in that feast and famine, and it doesn't allow you to think long term. It doesn't allow you to think about what you could be doing with your life or what you really want your money to be doing with your life. And it's really hard to track. It's really hard to go, okay, I have this much money left over after all my bills are paid, and I can put this towards this amount. And you can do a monthly budget and still be like, oh my gosh, I don't know how this works, because I know that I need, say $2,000 a month for bills, and I need $800 a month for groceries, but how am I supposed to split that up when I need a consistent amount every single every single week for groceries and for gas? But my bills, I'm at the mercy of when they come out, and that's when I have to pay them, right? And that is just so stressful, and it's so overwhelming, and being able to do anything but simply just do what you have to do to get through it is like non-existent, right? And that's what I want to help you get out of today. That is what I'm super excited about with my system that I'm going to share with you. And I've shared it before, but I'm going to share it again because it is that important. Like, there is so much goodness that you will get out of implementing this system. And this system, this method that I have for you, is my bills system. And no, I don't know if I can really take claim over being the first one to come up with it or not, because I'm sure it's like in a lot of different places, but it's still something that I'm like, oh my gosh, like epiphany, this is how it works. This is how I get out of that feast and famine cycle. And I can shift my mindset then from, oh my gosh, I'm just like stuck right here in the now, to now being able to project into the future, to be able to save money, put money in the savings and do stuff like that, right? And so this bill system is going to make a huge difference once you implement it. So I want to share like the big things that you get out of it. And the first thing there is consistency. The bill system, once you've implemented it, and I'll tell you how, I should say. I can't show you because I can only speak to you, right, through the podcast. But I will explain how to set the system up in a little bit. But through setting up the system, you get consistency. So the number that you are working with each and every week will be the same. So you will have the same amount for your bills, the same amount for your groceries, the same amount for your gas, and not be like, oh my gosh, I've only got $50 this week. How am I going to do that? And like, going back to like the feast and famine cycle of it and feeling like you have nothing to do, and the paycheck to paycheck being like a mindset thing, that is where like our feeling of restriction comes from, because we feel like we have no money one week and the next week we have like so much money we don't know what to do with it. And that with this system, because you're going to have consistency, will end. You will be able to sit down, look at your budget, say, this is what I want to do with my money, and easily do it. It won't be, how am I going to do this? How do I have to mix numbers around? How do I have to, play Tetris with my money, with the bills, so that I can actually achieve this stuff that I'm looking for, achieve these things that I'm saving for, achieve my financial goals and dreams of what I want to do, get ahead financially, and not be stuck in this cycle where I just am living and I am being stressed out about it because there's nothing that I can do to get out of it, right? But there is, and that is my bill system. So the second thing that you get out of this, which I've already mentioned, is it ends the paycheck to paycheck cycle. You no longer are going, this week I pay my bills and I only have $2 left over. Next week I pay my bills and I have $1,000 left over because maybe I have no bills this week, right? And it's just like stressful living that way, like trying to figure out if you have enough money to be able to pay for your necessities, when you want to know that each and every week, if you are living weekly, your necessities are being taken care of. And this will end that stress. It will allow you to know and to confidently go forward each and every week, each and every month, that you are going to be taken care of with your needs. And you simply have to sit down to figure out, what am I going to do with the remaining money that I can put towards savings, that I can put towards debt, that I can give. You're going to actually be able to give, because you're not going, well, am I going to have enough money or not, right? You're not in that stressed, worried mindset. You are peacefully sitting down and thinking about what it is that you can do. Okay, so then the third thing that this system gives you is that it allows you to budget for every single penny. And this is so important, because this is where like money can easily be forgotten or lost, or, just put places and you're not sure how it's going to work when you like put it into your budget. But when you know where every single penny is going, it makes it so much easier. And I just feel like I'm repeating myself over and over again, but it makes it so much easier to be able to put that money towards something, to give it a job, to say, you are going to go towards my debt, and you are going to go towards saving up for a new vehicle, because that's something that you're wanting, right? The dreams are endless. Your goals are totally yours, and they're going to be different than everybody else's. And that is what knowing where every single penny is going to give you, it's going to take you. Instead of thinking, well, I don't have the money to do that, or I don't have the money to be able to, even think about that, because I am stressed out this week because I have $50 to my name after paying bills. And the next week you're like, oh, I can do everything, and I can just go buy everything I want and just, whip out the cash. And then all of a sudden it went places that you didn't mean it to go to, and you overspent on things that maybe you shouldn't have. And that's just the way it is, because our mindset goes from feast to famine, and you're scared and you're stressing to, oh, I better buy everything now because next week I'm not going to have anything, right? And so when you have a consistent dollar amount and you end that feast and famine cycle, and you are able to give every single penny a job, you're no longer going to go, I don't have the money for that. You're going to go, I can save up for that. Or right now, my goals do not allow that, or allow isn't the right thing. Right now, I have other priorities that my money is going to go towards, so I'm going to pass on whatever this is, right? Instead of going, I don't have the money for it, you're going to know whether you should or shouldn't, or can or can't, which those words are really harsh. So I would rather say whether you want to or whether you don't want to. Do you want to do whatever that thing is and take away from your other goals that you're working towards? And taking a break here and there is not going to hurt anything. I want you to know that right here and now. But what I'm simply saying is, with this system, you are going to be able to make a financial decision that's going to actually feel like you are in control and you are not being restricted. You're going to go, okay, these are my goals. This is what's going on. Do I want to do whatever is going on and take away some money from my financial goals? If I do, how is it going to affect it? If I don't, I will keep moving forward, right? Like how is it going to affect my goals? Is it going to completely put me back a whole month? Is it going to be just a few dollars here or there? You're going to be able to make a solid financial decision that isn't based off of whether you've got the money coming in or not. It's going to be based off of what your goals and your dreams are, because you decided what those were, not because someone else gave it to you, not because your paycheck is telling you what you can and cannot do, because you set up goals, you set up dreams and desires, you put them into your budget, and you can say with a solid, matter of fact, I can't think of the word I actually want to say, but you're probably saying it for me. But anyways, you can confidently, there we go, say yes or no about whether you want to take that money away from your financial goals or not. And maybe you have a little section in your budget because you can now see where all that money is that allows you to say yes to those things. But if it's a bigger financial thing, like maybe going to a concert that's going to cost I don't know, a ridiculous amount of money, like $500. Don't know if that's really true because I don't go to a lot of concerts. But my point is, if that were the case, then you could say, I can start saving up for it. Or if it's tomorrow, you can be like, do I really want to take it out of the savings and affect, what I'm trying to save up for? You can say yes or no without it affecting everything else that you're doing, right? And it won't feel like you are being restricted. That is the biggest thing I hope you're getting from this is you're going to end the paycheck to paycheck cycle and you're going to stop feeling restricted and be able to make financial decisions that you are confident with, that you are happy to make, that you are like, yes, I can do that, or no, I'm not going to do that because then I can't do this. That is going to help you, and it's going to make such a big difference, not only in your life as you're sitting down to budget, because then you're not going, what do I do with all this money? You know where it's going, right? But for your family, for your relationship with your husband, because you sat down together, you created this budget together, these dreams and goals that you both want are in the budget, and you are able to then make decisions of what's going on when you sit down to move money around for what's remaining, right? You're going to have a solid plan in place, and all you have to do is sit down and move that money, and you are done. You don't have to sit there and stress going, do I do that? Is my husband going to be okay with that? Do I not do that? How's that going to affect us? No, there won't be that anymore. Okay. I'm going to stop because I'm getting really passionate about this, if you can tell. But that is what you get from this system, simply putting it in place. And then once you put everything else in place too, like you put the digital cash envelope system in place and everything else that I teach, the monthly budget, your base budget, and this bills system, you are going to be thriving faster than, you could sneeze. I don't know why I said that, but that was fun. Anyways, this bill system it is such a big tool. And if it is the only thing you do or you take from and implement out of what I have been teaching you, then I hope and I pray that you take it and you run with it, because it is going to make a difference in your budgeting and in your mindset and your life, because you are no longer going to be stressed over it. Again, you're going to have consistency. You're no longer going to be living in that feast and famine, paycheck to paycheck lifestyle mindset that you are subjected to right now, and you are going to know where every single penny is going, so that when you have a financial decision come up, you can confidently say yes or no to whatever it is, right? Or maybe it's something that you're like, okay, well, this needs to become the new goal that we have in place because it's more important than another goal that we have there, right? That's a financial decision that you can make because you can see every single penny and you can know where every dollar is going and what it's doing for you. Jeez Louise, I am so passionate about this today. But I just hope you understand how big this system is for you and the impact it is going to make on your life as soon as you implement it. Okay, so now that you know what it does for you and like the big important things that is going to do for you, how do you set it up, right? So it is as simple as setting up an account only for your bills. Now, I say only for your bills because I don't want you to go and open a new account, because more than likely your bills are already coming out of the account that you are currently using. Open another account for your spending, and then keep your account that you are currently using and use it as your bills account, because then it's going to take off the stress of having to, if you have automatic payments coming out already, of switching it over to that. If you have checks attached to that account already, you can just keep using those checks if you're paying with a check, right? It makes it so much simpler if you just simply open up a spending account and then you have your bills account that you've already been using for however many years, right? And so that is how you set up that account. And what you do is you transfer the money you need for your bills only into that account. And some people have the money come into that account and then they transfer the spending amount into their spending account, right? That's if you have two systems or two bank accounts. I teach having more, right, with the digital cash envelope system. But if you're only going to do two, that is totally fine. Dip your toes in it, get a taste for it, see how you like it, right? But you start with those two accounts and you just go from there. You only put the money that you are going to put for your bills in that bills account, and only put the money that you're going to spend in your spending account, so that you are not spending your bills money. You are safe mentally knowing that your bills are going to be paid for and you're not going to touch them. You're not going to affect whether or not those bills get paid if you do overspend, right? That's going to bring safety and security to your brain, and you're going to get out of that fight or flight mode that maybe you are living in right now because you are so stressed over your money. So get out of that by giving yourself the freedom to know and to feel safe that your bills are going to be taken care of and your spending is going to be taken care of. Another way, the next step, but another way that you're going to get out of that fight or flight mode is then continuing with this bill system. So you now have two separate accounts, one for bills, one for spending. And then you're going to take your bills. You're going to put them on a spreadsheet, on a piece of paper, whatever it is, however system you like to use. Add it all up. See what your monthly amount is that you need for your bills every single month. And then here's the thing that's going to be the game changer. You're going to divide that number by the number of paychecks you get either for a month or a year, depending on how you want to set it up. And that is going to give you your exact consistent amount that you are going to put into your bills account every single time you get paid. Every single time. You know that money is going to be in there and you don't have to stress over it. Now, I want to tell you why you can do it either every month, like every time you get paid per month. So say you get paid bi-monthly, then you divide your paychecks or your month by 2, right? You take that monthly amount for your bills and divide it by 2. If you get paid weekly, you're going to take that monthly bill amount and you're going to divide it by 4, right? That's going to give you the amount that you need every single month, every single paycheck. You're going to put that amount that you divided by 4 into that bills account every single paycheck, and then you're going to know that money is going to be there. It's going to keep adding up. It's going to keep taking care of everything that is needing to be paid bills-wise, right? Everything that's in there is going to be taken care of. Now, the reason that I say maybe a year, if that's what you want to do, is for those of us, and I say us because I lived in this cycle, is if you get paid bi-weekly. So that means bi-weekly and bi-monthly are two totally different systems. Bi-monthly means that you get 2 paychecks every single month, which is a total of 24 paychecks, right? Bi-weekly means that every 2 weeks in the entire year, you are getting paid, which means in a total of a whole year, you're getting 26 paychecks a year, right? So you have 2 per se extra paychecks that when you put it in a monthly system, it can get a little wonky, right? And so that is why I say maybe do it a year, because if you're in that bi-weekly system, then you want to divide it by the 26 paychecks that you get throughout the entire year, right? But to do that, then you'd have to add up your monthly bills for the entire year, right? Which can get it can be a lot. So what I do, even in that system, is even in a bi-weekly system, I still divide my monthly amount by 2, which is then, a bi-monthly system. And then there's 2 weeks every single year that then is going to be adding extra income into my bills account as a cushion, which means I don't have to try to save up to put that cushion in there. I know it's going to be in there for other bills that come up, for, just simply having a cushion there to know that I don't have to worry about a big bill all of a sudden coming up out of nowhere that they just automatically pulled, and you're like, well, now I'm negative in that account, right? And you don't have to worry about that because that extra paycheck is going to handle that, right? Now, if you're a monthly system or if you are a bi-monthly system, you will have to, put a little extra cushion maybe in your paychecks amount, right? So say you have $200 a week that you need to put in there, or $200 a paycheck. I know that's really low, but it's just from my brain. If you put $200 a paycheck into that account, and that's going to be the exact amount that you need for your bills, well, then maybe you add an extra 50. So you do $250 every paycheck so that you can get a cushion built up. And then you can go back down once you get a comfortable cushion, like double the amount that you need, right, per month. That's a good cushion to have. But that's how you can do that. And that's how you can still use the system and implement the system right now instead of, having to wait to build that cushion up to feel safe about it, right? Now, that doesn't mean that you won't need a cushion to start the system because, depending on where you're at in the month and depending on how much comes out like for the entire year and how much you bring, the entire month and how much you bring in, you might need a little bit of a cushion. And I say a little bit of like maybe $200 to put into that account as a little cushion. I don't actually know what that amount is for you, but I do have a system to figure it out. So if that's something that you would like to learn more about, please reach out, shoot me an email, and we can talk about that system and get this bill system implemented for you like as soon as next month so that you are no longer living this paycheck to paycheck, stressed out, fight or flight mode life that you were possibly in because you're like, well, I have to take out bills and the first week of bills is like $1,000 or $2,000 because that's usually when the mortgage comes out, right? And then the next week is like $20, and then the next week is like $500, and then the next week is like $20 again, right? That is where we just get into this big ball of stress and overwhelm, and we're not sure of how to, get out of it. So if this is something that really intrigues you and you would really like to start the system as in yesterday, shoot me an email at mollybonnell@gmail.com. That's also in the show notes in case I said that really fast. And, talk to me, tell me about your struggles, and we'll get this system in place so that then you are able to go next month into knowing that you will be able to have a consistent amount every single time that you get paid, right? You will have consistent amounts in everything, not just your food, not just your gas, not just the things that you want. It's going to be consistent every single time in your paychecks, even in your bills. And that right there, as soon as I figured that out myself, it was like the biggest stress, the biggest weight off my shoulders. At first, I couldn't figure it out because I figured this out when I tried somebody else's system that was a percentage-based system. And it was like a digital cash envelope percentage-based system kind of thing. And when I then realized that things were going a little smoother and I was able to budget easier, I'm going, why? What's going on? And then I realized this system right here made it so much easier for me to sit down and budget with so much less stress, with so much less overwhelm. It got me out of that paycheck to paycheck lifestyle. And now I'm able to make solid financial decisions by seeing the numbers, knowing what they mean, and make a decision when something comes up of where it should come from, how it should come. And it's a good financial, strong, backed, I can't think of the word that I want, but like research, there's enough research backed decision that I know I'm making a solid decision and it's not going to cause harm to my family, which brings so much safety and security, and stress is just released from that, right? Okay. Again, I really, 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 really want you to implement this system. And if you need help and would like to learn more about, my system that I have to actually implementing this system, please send me an email and let's get talking. But with that being said, I pray that today's episode has blessed you. It's, stretched you, has brought you some insights to things that maybe you never thought about before, and that it's really growing you along this journey, on this one income journey, and that I'm just really helping you stretch and grow and learn more things so that you can become stronger and healthier in your financial journey, right? So with that being said, I pray that you have a great week, and I see you next week right here on the One Income Family Podcast. Before you go, I hope this episode has ignited a fire inside of you, and I pray that it creates long-lasting impact. Did you know that you too can impact other one-income families? All you have to do is leave a written review, and you help get the podcast in the hands of other mamas in need. You can also text this episode to that friend who is also knee-deep in the same kind of chaos as you and inspire them to make a change. Also, your review lets me know that you're enjoying the show, and that lights me up. I get so excited to hear from you. Another great way that we can connect, though, is through the One Income Family community over on Facebook. So after you're done leaving that 5-star review, head on over to the community where you will find other mamas working their way out of the chaos. You can ask your questions and connect with others who truly understand what you are going through. I cannot wait to connect with you in the community. Until then, I will see you right here next week on another episode of the One Income Family Podcast.